So I'm back. Can you believe it? 2 videos in a day, but hey ho, the messages were there. And what can I say? What messages they are. I did a video yesterday as well. I haven't posted in absolutely ages, but I did one yesterday. If you haven't seen it already, please see it, because it was pretty amazing, I thought. The messages in this are really strong as well. Earlier today, I posted one which was about the karmic and the divine masculine. And please watch it, because it's really important, the way that it came through, how people should maybe be viewing the karmic right now a much more helpful way, rather than a lot of people are currently viewing them, I was being told. So it's a much more beneficial way to actually perspective to adopt when thinking about the karmic partner. And it's to do with oneness and how we're all connected. And you know, I have to say, tagging on to the end of that, higher self-wise, everybody is in this massive, it's almost like a play. It's almost like we're all actors that are acting a play. We've got like a plan to do, and absolutely everyone that you meet has their own bit to play in that plan. And everyone is working to find balance. That's all I will say. Everybody in this whole charade, if you want to call it that, because it is almost like a bit of an act. We might think that we're actually in it and it's 110% the only reality. It's not. So there's a lot more to it. Please do watch that reading, the karmic reading with divine masculine. Tomorrow I'm going to do a divine feminine and karmic. And remember, the karmic is not just a relationship, as in a romantic relationship. It can also be family, jobs, friends, anything that has a very strong and very basic, not basic in that way, but basic as in a very fundamental impact on our lives. Okay, so but this reading is going to be just between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So let me explain how it works. The divine feminine is on the top, and it's the top line. The first line is how she feels in general about stuff. The second line is how she feels towards the divine masculine. Third line is how the divine masculine feels towards the divine feminine. And the fourth line, which you can barely see, is how the divine masculine is feeling within himself. And then here, I've just got what's at the bottom of the deck. So without further ado, let's go on to where the divine feminine is at the moment. If you watched the karmic read from earlier today, it's really interesting how some of the same cards came out, and they came out next to each other, and I have no idea how, because I shuffled these and they jumped out, and they jumped out separately. They jumped out at separate times. But we've got the Emperor and we've got the Queen of Pentacles, and it ties in beautifully with the last read, because it's very much to do with the divine feminine. For one, she has balanced a lot of her own masculine energies. She's purified a lot of the kind of distortions that were there within her own masculine energies, and come to terms with a lot of distortions that were to do with father figures, patriarchy, and with her place in society. And she is now also, the other meaning of this card is that she's also waiting for the divine masculine to turn up in his emperor energy. She wants him to turn up as an emperor, as this abundant, very capable, kind of absolute boss of a guy who's bearing a gift, a really worthy gift. And this is the gift of it's almost like his soul, but his soul, it's meaning a lot of things. It's the soul, the divine, the higher self. It's kind of as a whole, the circle. I'm really seeing that it's a whole. And obviously the cross is a sign of divinity. So he has got in touch with his divinity, and he's offering himself as a divine, complete divine being, rather than this damaged, distorted thing that he was before. So he's coming back whole. And the divine feminine, she is getting into that real regal queen energy as well. So the divine feminine is focusing on the pentacles, is focusing on creating a beautiful home, a beautiful, I want to say physical home as well. So physically, she's improving her body. She's feeding herself better food. She's really taking care of herself. Really taking care of herself, and giving herself the best This is what I'm getting. It's very much about the divine feminine really, really making herself the best that she can be right now so that she can offer that to the world as well. So really, really coming into your whole, getting into that regal, very noble kind of energy. And it's very much being grounded in the 3D. Also a lot of clearing, a lot of physical clearing is happening for the divine feminine as well. Now, I absolutely love these cards that just jumped out. We've got the Seven of Wands, the Prince of Cups, and the Four of Pentacles in reverse. So this is a symbol of, it's almost like the divine feminine has overcome all sorts of challenges, all sorts of other energies and other things that I'm seeing. This is almost like a dial to me. I know it's not, it's just an arch, but I'm seeing it as almost like a sundial or a calendar, and it's symbolizing eons, like such a long time. Like you don't even see the bottom of it because you don't know how many cycles you've had to be troubled by these various things that were popping up, but you've overcome them and you really can kind of rise above, and you're really kind of in the flow of things and freeing yourself. You're not trapped by these things anymore. It's like you've risen above it. These were almost like a prison that was imprisoning you before, and now you've stepped up and you have kind of, you know, you can destroy them all with one blow if you wanted to. So that's where you are. And that's linked into the emotions. It's linked into really, really getting in touch with your truth, with what's in your heart, with finding, I'm hearing a lot of forgiveness and a lot of acceptance and surrender. Real. Again, I'm seeing the water and going with the flow. I'm seeing mentally here, you've overcome a lot of things, and also energetically. But here, I'm really seeing, I'm seeing emotionally and also energetically as well. And a lot of that is to do with codependency issues. A lot of that is to do with money issues as well in the physical, but mainly it's to do with emotional codependency, mental codependency. Well, they're kind of the same thing, the emotions and the mind, in my culture anyway. So it's very much to do with letting go of the things that you were too afraid to let go of. There's no need for him to cling to this pentacle for dear life. I always think he looks like an insect. He's got a very small head. So it's like, it's not about using your intelligence here. It's just about, you know, primal instinct and fear. But you're letting go of that and you're living your life in a much more sensible, much more free, much more powerful, and much more giving and noble way. And it's stuff you've let go, basically, of stuff that you weren't able to let go of for centuries. It's like you finally let go and you've gone with the flow and you've surrendered and you're in a much better place. But that doesn't come without its own troubles. So you've got new challenges to think of, to deal with, and there could be some conflict from people around you who maybe don't like the fact that, or aren't really that settled with the fact that you are acting different now. You want different things. You want to rise up. You want to go to different places. Or maybe you're in a new situation where you've got new challenges to kind of sort out. It could be a new job. It could be a new neighborhood. It could be anything. These are just the things that were coming into my head. But it could be all manner of things. A new group of friends. But you will prevail. I'm seeing that this is you, and you know that you could prevail, and you're also rising above these obstacles and challenges. But many of you are feeling quite, I wouldn't say overwhelmed, but quite. It's almost like one step below being overwhelmed. Like there's a lot that's going on. There's a lot to manage. There's a lot of new information to process at the moment. That's the main thing. There's a lot of new information for you guys to process because you're in a new place and it feels very unfamiliar. Now, how you feel towards the divine masculine. Oh my God, come on. I have for you the Lovers. Now, this is really interesting because this is I'm getting, this is something to do with Mercury retrograde. This is the card of Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is currently in retrograde. This is such a convoluted message to get across, but basically lots of people are going to be hearing from their twins during this Mercury retrograde time or just after. And how you're feeling is many people are actually conflicted. Many people are still resisting this connection, and many people are feeling traumatized and burdened and burnt by it. But the divine, if you haven't seen the reading that I did yesterday, please do check it out. The reading from the day before this, I'm doing this on the 19th of July. So it would be from the 18th, but do check it out, because it's very much the main message was the divine is in charge, and I'm getting that from this card in a big way. And it's all about union happening. It's meant to happen. Very strong messages for that at the moment. And then you are feeling like the Queen of Wands in many ways. Energetically, this card is basically representing many changes happening on the energy level. If you want to call it the light body, it's that. And this black cat is symbolizing you're very protected at the moment. You're very protected. And many of you have also got your shadow aspects very much under control. The fact that she's just under the Queen of Pentacles as well, it's just a confirmation of a certain leveling up, a certain level of mastery that the divine feminine, of confidence, of stability, of sure-footedness, of sureness, that and strength, quite frankly, that the divine feminine has come into. That's why she knows that she can handle this Five of Wands energy, etc., is because, and also intuition. There's a lot of intuition, and there's a lot of clear illumination, I should say, happening with where to go, what to do. But again, it's going to come with its own challenges, and these new options that you are going to see, these new possibilities that you're going to see, they're also going to come with more kind of options of how to get there, etc. So then you might have more decisions to make, but you're getting more and more confident with making decisions for yourself, making the right decisions, and making decisions that you're happy with, and being responsible for those decisions as well. So well done, you. And don't forget, this is also how this line is very much to do with how you feel towards the divine masculine. And this is the Queen of Wands. This is like this that's kind of the wands of fire, basically. So that is like the twin flame card as well, for the divine feminine anyway. There is a sense of the Four of Cups though. It's and this is kind of reflected in a card that the divine masculine has got as well, but it's the Four of Cups is very much like, many of you don't see, you kind of know deep down that it's meant to happen. You know deep down that it's meant to happen. But right now you don't know how it's going to happen, because you can only see these three cups. But behind your back, over your head, on from another dimension, in another dimension, that's just coming down and just manifesting, just about to manifest itself into your awareness. And next up, we've got the alchemist. Like, you are making way for this to manifest into the physical. There's no doubt about it. But right now you don't know how it's going to happen. You can't see it. You can't see how it's going to happen. Many of you don't even know if you want it to happen. But the cards are just saying it's going to happen. So don't you can't see it right now. It might not look possible right now, but it's right there. And you know what? It's bigger, it's brighter, it's clearer, and than all the rest, and it's being handed to you by this divine hand coming from the sky. So you can't go wrong, essentially. So that's that. And you've got the, like I said before, you've got the alchemist here, the magician, and he's kind of figuring out how to make it happen right now. That's what he's doing. He's kind of studying different books, different plans, different strategies. But this is essentially the plan he's just actually, what he's doing is reminding himself of the plan, because that's what's going to happen. So, and I'm hearing, if you just look within, what was, I had to cut the cards to see what was at the bottom of the deck for the Divine Feminine, and we've got the Four of Swords, another card that showed up from the other reading. But in this reading, it's very much all about looking within yourself. It's about meditation. It's about turning those energies inwards, all the senses inwards, so that you have all the answers. And that's when the divine will be illuminated within you, when you turn all the energies and the thoughts as well inwards. Ask yourself for the answers. And I got a very, very, very strong message. Do not go to the guides, and do not rely too much on too many readings and on too much input from other people. It's very much, you have the answers within yourself. You don't need, half the time you don't need half the guidance that you think you might need. So I don't know who that's for. If it resonates, do take it on board, because I'm getting a very, very, very strong sense that there are so many people are saying, you need guidance from me, you need guidance from me, you need guidance from me. And it's almost like the market for that is very, very, very oversaturated. So to be heard, to get anyone to get their message across, they have to shout quite loudly. But because they have to shout quite loudly, it's overwhelming a lot of people that are kind of choosing to give away too much of their power to too many people, and sometimes to the wrong people. It's not really necessarily wrong, because a lot of the time that is part of their learning experience as well. But I'm just pointing it out that maybe people are believing that there's a general belief that everyone needs guidance right now. And maybe the general belief right now is that people think that they need more guidance than they actually need. That's the bottom of the message. So just watch for that, because the answers are within you. You just need to know how to access those answers for yourself. However you do that, that's up to you. You're responsible for it. Anyway, the alchemist. So you are, whether you consciously know that you're doing this or not, whatever you do, you are going to manifest it. And you're just remembering your higher self. This is your higher self looking at the plan, the blueprint that was written before you were born. And that's what's manifesting. That's what this mysterious energy is. It's just flowing around and making things happen and connecting things and bringing them together and getting rid of whatever you don't need and blah, 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 blah. So don't worry about that. And this is also a symbol again for the divine being the ultimate force that makes everything happen, because nothing happens. There was a quote saying, from a realized being saying, I forget who it was, some saint from India, but basically saying not even a blade of grass can move without my say-so, basically, without the say-so of the divine. And it's true. Anyway, now, those were all pretty powerful messages for the divine feminine, but the messages that were absolutely screaming once the cards came out were for the divine masculine, and it was specifically for the divine masculine, the line that represented how he's feeling towards the divine feminine. So straight off the bat, 3 cards came out. You literally cannot make this up. You cannot make it up. Anyway, I'll show them to you individually because they're that great. We've got the 10 of Wands. He's feeling completely and utterly burdened, crushed by the weight that he has had to bear of a cycle coming to an end. So we've got the 10 of Wands. Look at how the camera can't even focus. That's how exhausted the divine masculine is right now. He feels like he's got an uphill battle, an uphill struggle, carrying this massive burden, and he has. So he's still got a ways to go. This is his journey to redemption. And he has already got such a cross to bear because of all the bad things that he's done, all the guilt, the shame, and all the various other things, and all his other responsibilities that he's got to sort of deal with. But he's still not got where he needs to get to. He's still in need of leveling up. But that's the point that he's at right now. This is the crunch time. This is for him to redeem himself and raise himself up and carry with him all the things that his actions of the past. He has to take them with him. He can't put them down just here. They're going to carry on being a burden until he makes it to the top of the castle, the top of the hill. That's home. That's the divine feminine. That's where he needs to be. Interestingly enough, where he's got to basically get them up first to there. But this is the old home. And what he needs to do is he needs to use these things. He needs to put them to good use and create a new home and create something better. So that's what he's working towards. That's what he has to do. It's absolutely terrifying though, because that old stuff, that old tower, it needs to come down, and it's about to come down, and he is definitely going through a Tower moment. The Tower moment is just so graphic. I mean, these people are just giant in relation to the Tower. I'm also seeing this very much as a breakup. It's all fire and brimstone. There's absolutely no way of escaping this, and both people are just going to be thrown off track, basically, onto the right track. They're going to be thrown off the wrong track and onto the right track, and someone's losing their crown. Someone's being dethroned. I do feel it's more to do with priorities. It's like the divine masculine was not making the divine feminine a priority, but this is making way for the true priority to come through. I don't know who that was for. That was quite a random message, but someone needed to hear that. But this is the Tower. So these things are happening simultaneously. These are very much happening simultaneously. He's so burdened right now, and he's got to shoulder the responsibility and carry his actions from the past. He's got to raise himself up. Once he gets to the top, that's when he can build something new, because right now this tower is burning. This tower is burning, and everything is just utter chaos. Everything is so dark. Everything is so sad for the divine masculine right now. But that's because that's what needs to happen. And these cards all flew out at the same time, but they landed separately. It was really interesting, which is why I had to show them all separately as well. And we've got the Seven of Swords in reverse, and I was so happy to see this, because this is inauthenticity leaving. This is deception leaving. This is finally the divine masculine being truthful. And it looks quite bizarre upside down. It looks almost like this guy is almost going to chop off his own head with these swords. But it's almost like the ego. It's like him getting rid of the ego, of the trickster mind, that aspect of the mind that just isn't about the truth at all. And that's what he's quite joyfully getting rid of by his own volition. He's choosing to do it, and that's going to happen with everything that happens, with him sorting out and being responsible for all the things that he's done, shouldering and taking responsibility for all his old actions, raising himself up, raising his actions up, improving himself, leveling up, and redeeming himself by using the past to build something better, destroying the old and making something new with it. So that's what I see him doing. But these three, you could not make up what came out. And while I was shuffling, another card wanted to be seen as well, wanted to make itself shown. That was the Five of Pentacles. That's going to be relevant later on. And then also the King of Pentacles wanted to come out, and then the Eight of Wands wanted to come out, and then they came out again together in like a different part of the reading. It's been very, very strange. But anyway, another three cards came out together, but they stuck together, and that was the Devil, the Nine of Swords, and the Five of Cups. I mean, all the worst cards came out for the divine masculine, apart from, the Seven of Swords in reverse. That was great. We want to see that. But, I mean, look at this. The Ten of Wands, the Tower, the Devil, the Nine of Swords, and the Five of Cups. This is very much to do with this is again the regret. There's huge amounts of regret, huge amounts of self-reflection, huge amounts of retrospective looking at the past and crying over all these cups that are knocked down. And that's exactly kind of what the divine feminine is doing here as well with the Four of Cups. The divine masculine is doing that. The divine feminine is just looking at those cups being empty. She's just not necessarily feeling hurt even. She's just like, oh God, all this stuff happens. Well, I don't really know what to make of it. Can I really go back to it? Almost looking at the past in a very cerebral kind of mental way. I'm seeing a lot of mental energies, clarity and stuff. Just looking at it in quite a clinical way, more than feeling, their heart bleeding over it. But this, I'm almost seeing like a Three of Swords kind of energy, like their heart is broken, their heart is absolutely bleeding, because they were the ones that kicked these over and destroyed these cups and spilt this blood or wine or juice or whatever the heck it is, and it's causing them so much anxiety, so many sleepless nights, and they're looking to the past where their bad actions, they were like, I don't even know what made me do it. I was, they're thinking back to all the bad relationships that they have had, and all the bad situations and bad experiences that they have had, that kind of made them into a kind of a wreck, almost. I'm hearing like they were just almost like really damaged, that all the things that damaged them and caused them to lash out and act in the way that they in the broken way that they did. They're thinking about that, and I mean the energy from these cards is just really, really painful. It's really quite tortured. It's mentally tortured. It's agonized. It's absolutely twisted up. It's really kind of, unbearable. They're really, really, really going through something at the moment. So if that's your cue to feel sorry for them and feel like, not, that sounds patronizing, but to feel some compassion for them, especially if you were in a very, very cerebral kind of place where you're just kind of looking at the past in a really clinical way, just know that they are taking responsibility for their actions. They're really going through the shit right now. This is the time. The more stubborn people, especially, they are having the entire, not just the kitchen sink thrown at them, they're having the entire tower, the entire multi-story residence, and every single thing inside it, and every single item that belongs to every resident getting thrown at them right now. So they've got a lot to think of. Loads of sleepless nights. Loads of these swords of deception are leaving them, and they will be cutting out and cutting off the things that they don't need, casting aside the things that they don't need at the right time. It's all about divine timing. Anyway, so how do they think? What are they feeling at the moment? That's how they are feeling towards the divine feminine. Massive guilt, shame, regret. They're feeling just absolutely destroyed. They're so disappointed in themselves. They're horrified, absolutely mortified. It's unbearable for them to look at what they've done, but they're looking at it. So yeah, it's quite big. Anyway, so what they want is they want to be the King of Pentacles. They want to be the King of Pentacles to your Queen of Pentacles right there. So this card is kind of in this position underneath what you're expecting. You're expecting them to be the Emperor. This is the equivalent of the Emperor, which is really interesting because in the other reading, the equivalent, there was the same thing happened, the same kind of, the Empress was there, and then the Empress was represented again in another part of the reading with the Queen of Pentacles, and here we have it done with the Emperor and the King of Pentacles. So he wants to be the King of Pentacles. He wants to be able to just be so abundant and larger than life, and present you with this one prized possession. He's all about the King of Pentacles, and he wants to present you with the pentacle, with himself. That's him. The one pentacle. He is the king of that one pentacle, and he wants to give it to you, basically. And that's exactly what you want. So that mirrors up really beautifully because, remember with the Emperor here, the Queen of Pentacles wanted that whole, complete, holy offering from the Divine Masculine, and that's just mirrored really beautifully. I'll show you both the cards so that you can see it again. Whoops. So that's what it looks like. So lovely, beautiful mirroring there with the offer being made and the offer being made. So that's great. And he wants to do it really, really soon because we've got the Eight of Wands here, which is rapid communication, rapid movement, rapid. So many of you will be feeling a lot of energetic connection. But this is a card that says, especially because it's with the King of Pentacles, there's going to be a physical offer, a physical communication, especially in this Mercury retrograde. Just like I said with this Mercury retrograde thing, communication, it's all there, it's all in the same line as well, because they want to, they really, and very quickly and very, forcefully almost, very surely I should say, very certainly, with great certainty, want to manifest this wonderful, strong, this arm just reminds me of strength, with the Ace of Wands, I'm hearing tennis again. This reminds me of someone's arm, a tennis player, as they're about to, they're holding a tennis racket and they're about to serve. Today was the day of the Wimbledon men's final. If you listen to the reading that I did yesterday on the 18th, it was to do with Roger Federer, who didn't actually win today, but I was talking about tennis in that as well, and this is the ace, obviously, so it's all these weird tennis references, and that looks like a tennis ball, but it's very much about they want to act with power, they want to act with certainty, they want to take the lead, and they want to take control, I should say, of the situation. And this is something that they didn't want to do before. And tennis is also the gentleman's game. It's like it's not a game full of, football, like you think football hooligans. You don't have that in tennis. It's much more, I feel like it's got a bit of a different vibe. So that's what they want to be like. It's almost like they want to act a bit more refined. There's a certain element, there's a certain amount of refinement that and grace and beauty that they want to bring to what they are doing right now that they didn't have before, and taking responsibility, because it's all about, tennis is something that you do totally by yourself. From this card I'm getting, it's singles tennis that I'm being shown. It's about doing everything. You win the game, you lose the game, you do it by yourself. It's because of you. And that's what they're coming into. They're not going to have another team to blame things on or make excuses. It's about them just being like, whatever happens, it's because of me. And that's what they're doing with life in general. And again, now we have the Strength card that came up in yesterday's reading. And this is very much about, again, being strong, but also it's the card of Leo, and it's number 8. So in the 8th month, which is also the month of Leo, it's all about things happening then. And I don't know if there's Mercury retrograde that's going to overlap. Mercury retrograde ends on the 31st of July, and then we start Leo season. Then we start, obviously, the 8th month, August. But yeah, Leo season starts in July. So there's going to be lots happening, lots of energetic happenings, lots of strengthening, empowerment, romance. Leo rules the 5th house, which is the house of romance and romantic partnerships as well. So this is all really, really well starred. Lots is going to happen in that season. And what we also have here is the 3 of Pentacles in reverse. This is them moving away from partnerships that they're already in, commitments that they're already in. And another good thing is we've got we've got the 5 of Pentacles, but it's in reverse. And that's what is at the bottom of the deck. And it's so nice to finally see, because what I got very, very strongly from that is attachment issues are leaving. Codependency is leaving the divine masculine. They are getting over their fears that all stem from, there's a specific phrase, a psychological phrase, that separation anxiety. A lot of the crap that they did, a lot of this devil energy that was controlling them came from separation anxiety. And this is from parents, from their parenting. It's from their various karmic situations. It's from the various karmic actions that they've done, that they've had, that have led them to have the parents and the childhood that they've had. And the parents and the childhood that they had was what led them to get the various jobs and relationships that they've had, and also parent their children in the various ways that they have. And all of these, it's all kind of cycles of karmic cycles of more and more anxiety and codependency that comes from separation anxiety, from being abandoned or neglected as a child or whatever. But thankfully, these things are leaving. They're being cleared away by the divine. All the inauthenticity is going. All the anxiety, all the mental crap is going. All the stuff that they've stolen, all the dishonesty, all the cheating, blah, blah, blah. It's all the lying to themselves. It's all going. And that is thanks to the divine intervention from the tower. It's that everything's being torn down. The end of an era. It's them taking responsibility and then finally climbing up to the next level. Them leveling up. that's going to happen, and it's because God's in charge. God's in charge for sure. And lots is going to happen during this Mercury retrograde. It's going to happen very, very quickly. Fresh new start. They want the new start with you. If you look at the karmic reading that I did earlier on the 19th, that was saying how they didn't want anything to happen with the karmic. And the new start was not going to happen with the karmic. They want the new start with the divine feminine. So let's leave it there. I will be back probably sooner rather than later with another video. I do hope that you've enjoyed this. Please do like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification button, because I will be doing more videos soon. And I don't know when I'm going to be able to start doing personal reads, to be honest, but I've definitely been felt the call to do more readings for the collective. So it looks like I will be back with more of those. I hope you found this helpful. I think it's a great read. Enjoy, and I'll be back soon. Lots of love. Bye.